Cardinals team from St. Charles. Hi everybody, it's Rick Cooper, the voice of the Cruisers, and it's great to have you with us here on the Groveport Sports Network. What you see on your screen right now is the ending of the JV game. St. Charles freshmen already victorious earlier tonight, 43-32. Groveport JV have led the entire night, but right now a late run by St. Charles has given the Cardinals a 44-43 advantage with under a minute to play, at least in regulation, and they're going to call a walk on Sam Winhoven. That's going to give the ball back to St. Charles. We welcome you to the Elyjah Dental pregame show. A vitally important part of good dental care is a routine checkup to heal from any existing problems and to keep a careful watch on any developing issues. Doctors Aaron and Katie Carroll and the team at Elyjah Dental promise to make your next trip to the dentist pleasant, positive, and comfortable. Elyjah Dental says go Cruisers. Phone 836-2222 or visit ElyjahDental.com. Cruisers have won 3 straight meetings against St. Charles, including a 50-40 win in round 1 of postseason play last year in a game that featured 19 different ties or lead changes. The Cruisers do come in off of a loss. Canal Winchester swept the season series with the Cruisers last night with a 62-56 win over at Canal. Senior Bilal Sow led the Indians with a game-high 19. He was one of 3 Indians to finish in double digits. Senior Trayvon Robinson came off the bench and popped in 13. Robinson has averaged 12.5 points a game off the bench against Groveport in 2 meetings here in 2019-20, and senior Cole Metzler added 10. 8 of his 10 points came in the second half. Senior Tymir Jones led the Cruisers with 15. Sophomore Kenyatta Whiteside played his first night as a full-fledged varsity player, which means he did not dress JV. He'd done that all year, and Whiteside took advantage. He finished with 11. The Indians jumped out to a 10-0 advantage before Cruiser fans had sat down with their hot dog and a Coke. Now, Scotty Lomax finally hit 2 free throws with 5:17 to play in the first quarter. They trailed, did the Cruisers, by as many as 12 in that first half, but they trailed only by 6 at the end of the first half after a Scotty Lomax steal and jumper beat the first half buzzer. The Cruisers actually took the lead momentarily. It was their lone lead of the night on a Kenyatta Whiteside 3 with 4:45 to play in the game, but the Indians would go on a 16-9 run in the final 4.5 minutes to win by 6. It is a devastating loss to a team that had put themselves in a position to control their own destiny in terms of a league title. Now the Cruisers find themselves 2 games behind Newark with just 3 games to play. The Cruisers finish with New Albany at home on Friday night, at Newark on Friday, February 7th, and home against Big Walnut for senior night on February the 14th. The Cruisers need to win all 3, and they need Newark to lose at either Big Walnut next Friday night or at Canal Winchester on February the 14th. And so obviously Newark, a team now after last night that is 34-3 in OCC Capital play since realignment in 2016. So the idea that they would possibly lose 2 of their final 3 games may be a little bit far-fetched. Jacob Daniel and the St. Charles Cardinals come in tonight at 11-5. They are 4-1 in the CCL, the Central Catholic League. They find themselves a game and a half behind DeSales, who is 6-0. The Cardinals stayed within striking distance of DeSales with a 42-38 league win against Bishop Watterson on Friday night. Sophomore Jarrett Frey led St. Charles with a game-high 17. The name of the game for the Cardinals is balance. They only play really 7 guys in their regular rotation, but any of those 7 guys can be the guy that beats you on any given night. Their front line of senior Victor Searles and freshman Chase Walker combines to average 23 points and 11 rebounds and is as big as any front line in the area. Their point guard, Doogie James, averages 10 points and 5 assists. Head coach Jacob Daniel says James would be a D1 prospect if he were 6'3" and not 5'8". And sophomore Jarrett Frey is averaging nearly 12 points a game from the 2-guard spot. Frey has no limits on his range from 3, where he is shooting 41% on the year. The Cruisers will need to counter the balance of the Cardinals with plenty of balance of their own if they're going to get out of Cruiser Arena with their 10th win of the year. Should be a fun night of hoops. St. Charles at 10-5 and Groveport Madison at 9-7, and we're excited to bring it to you here on the Groveport Sports Network. So the JV kind of summary here again, led the entire game, and St. Charles with a late run, and it appears that they are going to knock off Groveport Madison. 9.9 left, and it's 48-43. St. Charles. Why don't we take a look at tonight's Mount Carmel Medical Group injury report? It's brought to you by Mount Carmel Medical Group Sedalia. Find the right doctor today so that tomorrow can be even better. Schedule an appointment at their Sedalia location by calling 614-835-0070 or by visiting mountcarmelmedicalgroup.com. And every time you think that injury report getting a little bit lighter, something else gets thrown into the mix. Tonight, Devin Singleton is expected to play. He will start at the 5. Devin has missed 13 games over the last 2 years. The ailment this year has been a thigh contusion that has forced him to miss 7, but we expect to see him tonight. He came off the bench last night at Canal. Elyjah Aekins is still out with a thigh contusion of his own. 5'11 junior, no timetable on his return. And Elyjah Monroe is expected to play and start tonight as well for Groveport Madison. So that's some good news, as 2 of the 3 that have been on that injury report are going to play tonight. Some surprises. No John Motton today. Motton is on a college visit up at Toledo, and had a college visit last week up at Michigan State that forced him to miss a game. So Motton is out, and Scotty Lomax and Ray Whitfield are not going to be in uniform tonight. Lomax, of course, the Cruisers' leading scorer now at 14.7 a game, and a coach's decision. Those 2 guys will sit tonight against St. Charles. And for St. Charles, no injuries to report, but sophomore Josh Whiteside is out for the year per OHSA transfer rules. Tonight's game number 6 that he has missed. Whiteside transferred in from Gahanna, lettered at Gahanna as a freshman last year, averaging 7.3 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 1.3 assists, all while shooting 55% from the field, and he did all of that in the first 11 games. And so that is tonight's lengthy Mount Carmel Medical Group injury report. Having the right doctor for you when you need it is a great thing. Having the right doctor in a location that's convenient is even better. Find the right doctor today so that tomorrow can be even better. And you do that by visiting mountcarmelmedicalgroup.com. We have a lot coming up on the Sedalia Dental pregame show. Again, we say thanks to Drs. Aaron and Katie Carroll and the team at Sedalia Dental. They make a bold promise. They said the next time you come to see us, we're going to make your trip pleasant, positive, and comfortable. That good dental care starts with that routine checkup, helps you to heal from any existing problems. It helps them to keep a careful watch on any developing issues. Again, Drs. Aaron and Katie Carroll and the team at Sedalia Dental, the exclusive sponsor of the Sedalia Dental pregame show. Phone 836-2222 or visit sedaliadental.com. A lot coming up on the Sedalia Dental pregame show. We'll compare these 2 teams statistically. We'll introduce you to tonight's Rays and Canes starting lineups. We'll tell you about last year when these 2 teams met twice in a season. Groveport Madison has won the last 3 meetings. We'll tell you a little bit about that. But when we come back, we check in with the 8th-year head coach, Ryan Gratial. He appears courtesy of Great Clips. We'll get thoughts straight from the head coach, and we'll do it after this 60-second timeout here on the Groveport Sports Network.
What are you doing?
Filling out a loan application.
I can help you get approved, you know.
Really? How?
With this.
A bag of sand?
It's not a bag, it's a pouch. And it's not sand, it's credit fairy dust.
Credit fairy dust?
Yes, I sprinkle some fairy dust on the application, and your credit rating magically improves.
There's no such thing as the credit fairy.
An unbeliever now. But what will you think when your loan is approved?
I'll think my credit score improved because I paid my bills on time, kept my credit card balances low, and only opened a new card if I really needed it.
It's the dust.
It's sand.
Don't deny the credit fairy.
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there is help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the Consumer Bankers Foundation, the Leadership Conference on Civil Rights Education Fund, and the Ad Council.
Back here on the Sedalia Dental pregame show, we count you down to the opening tip. It's the Cruisers and the Cardinals from here at Cruiser Arena in a non-league game. And Ryan Graceful, the head coach of the Cruisers, joins us. He appears courtesy of Great Clips. They've got that online check-in. It's a way for you to add your name to the list at the Great Clips salon of your choice, so you spend less time waiting in the lobby. You can download the free Great Clips app today or visit greatclips.com. And coach, a tough one last night that will force your squad to come in and regroup quickly to get ready for another talented squad in St. Charles. How easy do you anticipate them being able to turn the page and be ready tonight?
Last night's definitely a tough one to swallow. We told the guys it should hurt. It should be a thing where we're a little frustrated after it. But it's one thing. It prepares us for at Newark here in a couple weeks. It prepares us for New Albany here next Friday. So it prepares us for those types of situations and into the postseason. So if you can learn from it, then it can really benefit us.
You look back on last night, you get down 10-0 right out of the gate, get down a dozen, I think, on a couple different occasions, but then you kind of chip away at it, and you actually took a lead for a split second on a Whiteside 3 with 4:45 left. From that point on, Canal goes on a 16-9 run down the stretch. What kept you from maybe being a little more effective down that stretch?
Marlon being in foul trouble really affected us. He's played a ton of minutes for us all year, so having a guy that's just played that much for us all year, whether he's a sophomore or not, it doesn't matter at this point in time. And then I think we struggled at times to get consecutive stops. We would score and then they would score, and so we can't trade buckets.
Sure.
We gave up 24 in the fourth or something like that. So it was really struggled at times to get stops, and I think that was the biggest difference.
Talking about Ryan Graceful, courtesy of Great Clips, and obviously a big one in the league standings. Newark now a 2-game lead in the standings with 3 to play. And I got to ask you about the other one in the league last night that caught my eye. New Albany, 18-point winners at Big Walnut. Thoughts on that one? And it's really been a wild year in the OCC Capital.
Well, it really dictates how balanced the league is, how great the league's been over the past few years. I know that Newark's won it, obviously, but my thing is everybody's been competitive. So that's the balance of this league. It's kind of the balance of Central Ohio right now. I really feel like I think that there's obviously a couple top tier teams, but I think there's a huge number of teams that are in that mix. So
let's talk a little about St. Charles, 11-5 in the year. You mentioned in your post-game interview last night, without Josh Whiteside, per OHSA transfer rules, 7.5 points, 55% from the field. But Coach, even without him, this is really a balanced bunch that can beat you in a multitude of ways.
Yeah, obviously they bring back a lot of experience, even though they're only sophomores with Frey and James. Obviously Searle's coming in with his experience. I know he's really developed a little bit. Been pretty impressed with his growth. But they just have a lot of options right now. And then obviously the freshman big is also pretty solid. So they have a lot of pieces. And then obviously his name's slipping me, number 12, the shooter. So I can't think of his name.
Spencer, is that it? Martin, I think?
Yeah, Martin. So, like I said, they just have a lot of options, and it's going to be a tough one for us tonight just because they're linked. So.
You mentioned their bigs. Victor Searles, 6'8", 14 points, 18 rebounds, 74% from the field, which is 10% better than everybody else in Central Ohio. And you mentioned big Chase Walker, 6'5", 300-pound freshman. What problems specifically do they pose, and how do they look different than maybe what you dealt with last night with So and Metzler?
Metzler is similar actually to Searles. Metzler probably gets up off the ground a little bit more, but Searles plays in scoring positions constantly. And those scoring positions is the biggest difference. He gets in those scoring positions, and whenever he catches so deep like that, it's an automatic bucket. So we got to make sure he's not in scoring positions whenever he catches. The freshman's actually got real soft hands, good footwork, great pass out of the post. So he's kind of a little nice 1-2 punch there.
What jumps out at me as we prep for them, they only have 7 guys really in their rotation. We only have about 9 or 10 on the bench. Yeah. Played a tough game last night against Waterson. Is depth something that you hope to take advantage of and exploit tonight?
Yeah, we have discussed it. And obviously, we're going to be a little short tonight, but I think that if we can get out in transition, it's going to be dictated whether we can do it off the glass. If we get off the glass, get a couple deflections in our half court, we can get out in transition. Otherwise, it's going to be a little difficult for us to do that. But that is a focal point for us tonight.
Any other keys or any guys? You mentioned some guys out tonight. anybody, some keys or guys that have to step up and give you better minutes?
Yeah, I mean, I think that everybody's going to have to play bigger roles. We're going to start a little different tonight, and obviously coming off the bench will be Ricky and Kenyatta, and then obviously Tymir's also going to come off the bench. So we just got to be smart with those guys and make sure we balance our minutes, use our timeouts wisely, those types of things. So,
Coach, always appreciate your thoughts, appreciate them, and look forward to talking to you after the game as well. Best of luck.
Thanks, Rick.
That's Ryan Krasel, the head coach of the Cruisers. He appears here on the Elyjah Dental pregame show courtesy of Great Clips. Great Clips, more than 4,000 locations nationwide, 58 of them here in Central Ohio. They're the fastest growing walk-in salon in the country. Great Clips, convenient, affordable, and right around the corner at 3797 South Hamilton Road in Groveport in the Giant Eagle Plaza. We'll take a break here on the Elyjah Dental pregame show. We'll introduce you to tonight's Raising Cane starting lineups. It's Groveport Madison and St. Charles from here at Cruiser Arena. This is the Groveport Sports Network.
Hi, everybody. I'm Susie Orman with an important message from the FDIC about keeping your money safe and sound. Recently, I got a letter from a woman who told me she took all of her money out of the bank and put it in a shoebox in her closet. What was she thinking? That's not a safe thing to do. You know what I told her? Put it back in the bank now. If your money is in an FDIC member bank and you stay within coverage limits, you have no reason to worry. You can't lose a penny no matter what. That's a lot safer than a shoebox, if you ask me. How can you make sure your money is totally FDIC protected? If I were you, I would want to know that. So here's what I want you to do. Go to myfdicinsurance.gov and click on Edie the Estimator and find out. That's Edie the Estimator at myfdicinsurance.gov. Go there today, because the more you know, the safer your money.
Ferry residents, this is Tooth speaking. I'm sorry, did you say credit? Credit Ferry? Perhaps you have the wrong number. Actually, no, I'm not familiar with the Credit Ferry, and I know all the ferries. We're a tight-knit bunch. Why don't you tell me more about what the Credit Ferry does? Maybe it'll ring a bell. The Credit Ferry magically raises your credit score so you'll be more likely to receive better interest rates? I'm pretty sure there's not a Credit Ferry. But I do know you can improve your credit rating by paying bills on time and keeping your credit card balances low. Glad I could help. Me? Well, I leave money under children's pillows. Adults? No, kids only. But I do know a good dentist.
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there is help, and it's free. Go to creditferry.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the Consumer Bankers Foundation, the Leadership Conference on Civil Rights Education Fund, and the Ad Council.
The Elyjah Dental pregame show rolls on as we count you down to the Birch Tavern opening tip. Rick Cooper, Lynn Cooper, our on-site producer, doing an outstanding job, and the rest of our Groveport Sports Network broadcast crew. Thanks to Doctors Aaron and Katie Carroll and the team at Elyjah Dental, located on Hendron Road in Groveport. Elyjah Dental says go Cruisers. Phone 836-2222. Standings after last night in the OCC Capital. Newark is first at 14-2. They are 6-1 in the league. Canal Winchester 10-4, 4-3. One of three teams at 4-3 right now. New Albany is also 4-3. They're 10-6 overall. Groveport Madison is 4-3, 9-7 overall. Big Walnut all alone at fifth in the league. 3-4, 10-7 overall. Franklin Heights rounds out that 16 league at 3-14, and they are 0-7 in OCC Capital play. St. Charles at Groveport Madison today. Newark, the only other OCC Capital team playing. They are playing Whitehall. They played Whitehall earlier today at Ohio Dominican. That was a 2:45 start. If I would have done my job, I would have a final on that one for you. We'll try to get a final for you at some point a little bit later on. CCL standings, DeSales 6-0. 13-3 overall. St. Charles is second at 4-1, 11-5 overall. Bishop Ready 11-4 overall, 3-2, a game behind St. Charles. Watterson is 1-5, 7-9 overall, and Bishop Hartley is winless in the league, 0-6 and 4-9 overall. CCL schedule today: St. Charles here, and Wellington is at Hartley today, and the only other game involving a CCL team. Why don't we take a look at tonight's Raising Cane starting lineups? First of all, for the Cruisers tonight, they will have a major shakeup in their Raising Cane starting lineup. Elyjah Monroe starts at the point guard. That's normal, 9.2 a game, 3.1 rebounds, and 2.3 assists for the two-year starter and the second-team all-league performer. He'll wear number 5. Abubakar Diallo will start at the 2-guard, 5'9", sophomore, best shooter on this team, along with Lomax and Jones. 8.4 points is fourth on the team, 2 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 34% on from the field, 32% on threes, 74% at the stripe. Small forward tonight is Marlon Elliott. Had a tough night last night, no points and 5 fouls in limited minutes. 6'1" sophomore, averages just under 6 a game, 2 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 44% from the field, 63% from the stripe. He'll wear number 30. The power forward is Zay Tatum, 5'11", senior guard, 3.6 points, 3.5 rebounds. Those 3.5 rebounds are tied with Elyjah Aekins as a team high. And the man in the middle is Devin Singleton, back into the starting lineup, a co-captain on this team, a 2-year starter that has missed 7 games this year, 6 games last year, 13 games missed because of injuries over the last 2 seasons, 2.5 points, 2.1 rebounds, and 44% from the field. The Cruiser head coach is 33-year-old Ryan Grayshall, 94 wins, 89 losses, a 51% winning percentage, 08 Ohio State grad, master's from the University of Dayton in 2011, grew up near Portsmouth. South Webster High School was where he played on a state semifinal team back in 2004, assisted tonight by Justin Patrick, Lamont Hampton, and Kali Adebanjo. For St. Charles, the Cardinals come in at 11-5. They are 4-1 in the CCL. Their point guard is a good one, 5'8" sophomore Doogie James. He'll wear number 1, the lefty, 9.6 points, third best on this team. 5.2 assists and 1.5 steals are both team highs. 45% from the field, 38% on threes, which is number 2 on this team, and 65% from the stripe. Spencer Martin will start at the 2-guard, 5'10", senior, wears number 12, 6.7 points, 2.6 rebounds, 34% from the field. Jacob Daniel called Martin his most consistent player, best all-around player, and he said, Rick, he's not great at anything, but he's really good at everything. Martin starts at the 2 tonight. Jared Frey will start at the small forward, 6'4" sophomore. He and Doogie James were labeled by Jacob Daniel as the best freshman he has coached in 11 years when he coached him as freshman last year. This year, Frey is scoring down from about 6 points a game, and that's a good thing, according to Jacob Daniel, taking better shots, and the team much more balanced this year. He averages 11.7 points and 3.6 rebounds, 44% on threes. He's their top 3-point shooter at 41%. I think I said that wrong. 44% from the field, 41% on threes is a team high. His 28 makes from behind the arc is a team high as well. 76% from the stripe. He had 18 on 4 threes in the first meeting between these two teams last year. The power forward tonight will be, we'll find that gentleman's name. The power forward tonight is, they went with last night at that spot. They're kind of rotating guys in right now after losing Josh Whiteside. I can tell you Victor Searles is going to be the guy that starts at the 5. Oh, it's Juan Reeder, the number 2, 6'2" sophomore. They'll go with him, a little bit better athlete than that started last night against Watterson and against the Athletic Cruisers. Jacob Daniels said, we don't need we'll play some, but he's not built to get into a track meet, which could happen today. So he'll come off the bench. Juan Reeder will start, 6'2 sophomore, averages 2.5 points, 2.1 rebounds, and he'll wear number 2. The man in the middle, and we use that word man very intentionally, is 6'8", 240-pound senior center Victor Searle. 74% from the field this year, is 10% better than everybody else playing high school basketball in Central Ohio. He was a second-team all-league guy last year. He's a 2-year starter that last year was 270 pounds at Thanksgiving. He took off 35 pounds in the last 3 months of the season due to what Jacob Daniel called tremendous dedication. And he told us very candidly, said he did not start as a sophomore on the JV team. He was not having a good junior year last year. He said, Rick, he was, and I quote, a fat kid that couldn't run, jump, or defend, and he finally had enough and hired a nutritionist and made changes. And he said, Rick, he still doesn't jump well, but he's made some really major steps forward, averaging now 14.4 points and 6.4 rebounds, which are both team highs. Their head coach is Jacob Daniel. He's a pre-calc teacher at the high school, 43 years old. In his 11th season, 153 wins, 86 losses. That's a 64% winning percentage. His best year 3 years ago, 24-3 in 2016-17 when they went to the regional semis before losing to Pickerington Central. He's a 95 St. Charles grad that took this program to 2 district titles in back-to-back years. In 94-95, he played 4 years at Wittenberg. They got all the way to the regional final of the 1996 NCAA Division III tournament. Wife Sienna is a 95 Bexley grad of 10 years, and a son, McLean, who may be watching tonight. Little McLean is 7. Those are your Raisin Canes starting lineups. Raisin Canes wants to party with you next Sunday for your big football get-together. Remember, Raisin Canes chicken tenders, catering available in quantities of 25, 50, 75, and 100. They come with Cane's signature sauce, add on a jug of fresh squeezed lemonade, and as we love to say, you will have many, 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 many more friends. For more information, visit the Cane's location across from the Giant Eagle Plaza at 614-626-8101. We are just moments away from the Birch Tavern opening tip. Cruiser's going to try to win for the 4th straight time in this series. They won both meetings last year. They won 56-54 at St. Charles on a game that was played on February 2nd, was initially slated for mid-January the 19th. The Cruisers hit 9 threes in the win. Nakai Taylor with a game-high 22, and the Cruisers also won the postseason meeting in a sectional semifinal 50-40. Number 21 beat number 23 in a game that featured some 19 ties or lead changes. Cruisers went on a 15-8 run in the 4th quarter. Javon Miller, 16 points on 4 threes. We'll take our final timeout. We throw the basketball up next here on the Groveport Sports Network.
Our mission is one of hope. Since 1896, every day of every year, Volunteers of America has been feeding the elderly, helping troubled youth, sheltering the homeless, and restoring hope to more than 1 million people a year. Find out what you can do. Call 1-800-899-0089 or visit volunteersofamerica.org. Ready? Nuts.
Your body's been ready for quite some time.
Ready?
But not your mind. You have lots to do before you have a baby. But don't forget to take folic acid today and every day to prevent birth defects one special day. So when all of you is ready, that baby of yours will be ready to take on the world. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Ready? Nuts. Ready.
Back here at Cruiser Arena, the Elyjah Dental pregame show, and we told you some of the previous meetings. St. Charles does have a 4-3 advantage since 2010 in head-to-head matchups with Groveport Madison. For St. Charles, some of the keys today, according to head coach Jacob Daniel, he said, Rick, we've got to communicate on defense. We don't always do that. We've got to play hard today. He said we need solid team defense, and he was very candid. I love talking to Jacob Daniel. He gives you honest answers with lots of information. He says our defense is still our weakness. We don't communicate on D. We don't always play hard, and we make boneheaded team defense mistakes. And he said we're letting the other team's best players light us up. In terms of Watson from DeSales lit us up for 40. Worthington Christian Shooter got us for 25, but he did say our defense is better than a year ago. So just about set to get things underway. We compare these two teams statistically. St. Charles 60 a game, they give up 53. The Cruisers score 59 and give up 60. Cruisers 43% from the field. St. Charles 50%. Groveport Madison 31% on threes with 6.4 of them. St. Charles 36% with 5.5 makes. The Cardinals 67% at the stripe, 15 attempts a game. The Cruisers 64% with 14 attempts. Rebounds 39-24. St. Charles an advantage. Victor Searles averages 6.4 of those. Assists 11 for the Cruisers and 17 for St. Charles. Doogie James dishes out 5 of those. Tonight's opening tip is brought to you by the Birch Tavern in the Village of Groveport, open for lunch 11 a.m. 7 days a week, and we are underway. The Cardinals left to right here in the first half. Cruisers playing man-to-man, it appears, and Abubakar Diallo guarding Spencer Martin. They get their first touch to Victor Searles. Little turnaround is nicely done. Your referee today is Eric Valentine, 10 years. Ron Hanna is our U1 with 2 years, and Matthew Riley is the U2 with 8 years. 2-0. Cruisers going right to left here in this first half as Elliott got loose on that right wing. About a minute in. Frey looks to spin and tried to go right baseline, and he threw the basketball away. Tried to find out there Juan Reeder, first-year varsity kid, some miscommunication as Reeder had begun the process of cutting to the rim. So 2-0. Minute and 5 seconds in. St. Charles, the first bucket of this game out of the hand of Victor Searles. Searles, as we told you on the Elyjah Dental pregame show, their leading scorer at 14.4 a game. Also their leading rebounder at 6.4. Monroe into the lane, went to the left hand, looked good, but could not stay down. And a rebound to St. Charles. This is the electric Doogie James finding Martin, who hits a three. Spencer Martin now with his first point. Spencer Martin, 36% three-point shooter, 26 of 73. Those 73 attempts are the most on this team, and it's now a 5-0 advantage. Jumper no good, and a defensive rebound to big Victor Searles. Monday night, St. Charles beat Chillicothe, at that time the number 8 team in Division I. James no good. Searles a tip in, no good. A ball loose, Reeder had it. And they're going to say it went out of bounds, and it'll go back to Groveport Madison. Yeah, they beat Bishop Watterson last night, 42-38. Jared Frey, sophomore, 17. They beat Chillicothe on their home floor, 54-51 on Monday, as Monroe gets that one to drop in. Did a lot of good moves last night, attacking to the elbow, raising up, and just did not have very many of them go down. 5-3, 5:20 to play first quarter. Left side, it's Reeder working against Tatum. Spins into the lane. Tatum got a piece of the ball, but apparently got a piece of him as well. The foul on Tatum is his first and the team first. And Juan Reeder, 75% free throw shooter, will go to the line and get 2 tied for 4th best on this team, has started in spurts over the last 6 games after Josh Whiteside was declared officially ineligible per OHSAA transfer rules, and the first free throw is no good. They knew that was coming, but talking with Jacob Daniel, he said the reason that Josh Whiteside made the move to St. Charles in the first place was for academics, and so they were okay with it, but they'll have him back for a couple more seasons. As the second free throw, good again, or good, I should say, for Josh Reeder. And it's now 6-3, St. Charles by 3. Again, if you're just joining us, no Scotty Lomax, no Ray Whitfield, coach's decisions. John Motton on a football visit up at Toledo. And Elyjah Aekins continues to be bothered by that deep thigh contusion. No timetable on his return as Elliott just hit a 3. And it was from deep, and that's got to feel good after Elliott fouled out with no points last night. Jared Frey trying to work against Elliott down there at the block, and Marlin trying to wall up and just man up and not pick up a foul, playing pretty good defense. 4:23 to play, game tied at 6. Reeder back out now, top of the key. It's Doogie James, and he just hit a 3. Monroe. Back out to Abubakar Diallo. Tymir Jones coming off the bench tonight. He'll come in at the next stoppage. I think that's got to be Big Chase Walker, who's waiting for St. Charles as well. Diallo fades and fires for 3, no good. Good box out on that backside by Jared Frey. Lob underneath to Searles, and he led him a little bit too far. So we get our first look at 6'5", 300-pound Chase Walker, 8.1 points and 4.4 rebounds. 3 subs come in for the Cruisers. Tymir Jones had 15 last night. Kenyatta Whiteside had 11 last night in his first full-fledged varsity opportunity. And Ricky Cooper, the 6'2 senior co-captain on this team, is out there as well. 9-6 St. Charles, 3:25 to play. Monroe off a screen from Cooper. Back to Cooper on that right side. Gonna pull up from 15, missed everything. Ball loose, ball on the floor. Taken by Whiteside, who caught it and put it in. So Kenyatta Whiteside with his first 2. And Jacob Daniel is gonna call a First Watch Daytime Cafe Cardinals timeout, and he does so with 3:10 to play. It's a 30. The Cardinals leading the Cruisers 9-8. Buffalo Wild Wings is tonight's restaurant of the game, a proud supporter of Cruisers athletics, hot wings, cold beverages, and the hottest sports action. Stop by for Buffalo Wild Wings' new hand-breaded chicken tenders, wing specials on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and family night Wednesdays, all at Buffalo Wild Wings. Lisa Sane with State Farm Insurance, tonight's State Farm Insurance agent of the game. She'll provide you with life insurance options that'll help protect those closest to you. To get a life insurance quote, contact Lisa Sane on Main Street in Groveport at 830-0450, and it sure looks like the Cruisers are going to play 2-3 on this possession here, and they are. It's Cooper in the back middle, back there with Whiteside and Elliott. Elliott sliding up a little bit as well. They find Walker, dropped it off underneath to Searles, who put it in. Searles with his second field goal has 4 points in the game, and it extends the St. Charles advantage to 3. They have led by as many as 5. Elliott back out to Monroe. Monroe into the lane, lost the basketball momentarily. And he'll bring it back out to Tymir Jones. 2:25 to play in the quarter. 11-8. Elliott looking to use his athleticism against Searles. Left side, it's Jones, hoists a 3 and hits. Tymir hits it and ties this game at 11 apiece. It's our 4th tie or lead change. Frey gets loose and answers right back at him at the other end. Young man that has NBA range. Talking about Jared Frey. 1:56 to play. Monroe off some action, no good. Tipped by Cooper, no. But Monroe gets it, keeps it in bounds, and dropped it in. Elyjah Monroe with 5, and the Cruisers now down just 1. And it's a First Watch Daytime Cafe Cruisers timeout called by Ryan Grayschel. First Watch Daytime Cafe, Route 256 in Reynoldsburg. Visit firstwatch.com to learn more. Tonight's chiropractor of the game is Canal Chiropractic and Rehab. Dr. Scott Wade, Dr. Nick Miller, and the team at Canal Chiropractic help you with your back pain, muscle spasms, even nerve pain. 27 years of experience. It allows them to provide you with personalized care, including 20 different treatment techniques that'll help you to feel better fast. 833-0563 or visit canalchiro.com. They are on Thrush Drive in Canal Winchester. Flyers Pizza is our pizza shop of the game. Be sure to try a pizza with their legendary Old World pepperoni. I love the Bomber Pizza. No mushroom, please. Add on Flyers Wings and one of their salads to complete your family's meal. Flyers Pizza and Subs is the official pizza of the Groveport Sports Network. 14-13. Martin now to Frey on that right baseline, and they just moved the basketball faster than the Cruisers' 2-3 defense could rotate, and Jared Frey heating up. Now with 2 threes. It's his 30th made 3 of the year, 41% coming in, and Jones going to try to answer at the other end, and that 3 came up short, and Frey able to run down the long rebound. Doogie James, left baseline, fires a 3, no good, and a defensive rebound to Elliott. Marlin looking to push. Right baseline, it's Whiteside for 3, on the rim, no good. Tipped by the Cruisers, no, and it'll go out of bounds off Cooper and go back to St. Charles. 52.7 left, 17-13, Cardinals by 4. Rick Cooper, the Groveport Sports Network, delighted to have you with us. Our second game in 2 days. Be back with you Friday night. The next time we talk to you from here at Cruiser Arena when the Sam Davis and the New Albany Eagles come to town. 35 seconds to play in the quarter. Looking to penetrate is Martin. Now left side, it's Doogie James. Walker got free underneath, put it up and dropped it in. Chase Walker with his first 2, and it's now 19-16. St. Charles' biggest lead, now a half dozen. 15 seconds to play in the quarter. Cruisers will play for 1, or you would think. Jones goes away from the screen. And now Cooper will re-screen again. Jones into the lane, he cleared off, he sure did. And it's going to be an offensive foul, our official right on top of it to call the player control foul with 4.2 left. And Singleton and Monroe going to use this opportunity to come in. Good call there by the men in stripes. Cooper and Jones sit down, so your Raisin Cane lineup right now: Diallo, Elliott, Monroe, Singleton, and Whiteside. It's Ryan Utt who will bring it in. Does so to Martin. James, a long 3 that would have counted, and it hits the front of the rim, no good, and that's how the first 8 minutes of basketball will end. St. Charles, their biggest lead of this first quarter on the scoreboard right now as they lead your Cruisers by the score of 19-13. Special thanks to Ireland Spa for their support of tonight's broadcast. Beth Ireland and the team at Ireland Spa will help you to relax, refresh, renew. Named a top 5 hair salon and a top 5 spa in Columbus. Ireland Spa is your home for haircuts and colors, massages, nail services, hair removal, skin care, and much more. Ireland Spa, 209 Winchester Cemetery Road in Canal, 1617 Hubbard Road in Lancaster. Visit IrelandSpa.com for more details. Lisa Sane with State Farm Insurance is tonight's insurance agent of the game, and we say thank you to her. She has been with us for many, many years. Let Lisa Sane and her State Farm Insurance team help you manage the risks of everyday life, recover from the unexpected, and realize your dreams. State Farm Insurance agent Lisa Sane is tonight's Groveport Sports Network insurance agent of the game. 152 Main Street in Groveport, 0450. Also thanks to Laura Listabarger with Century 21. More than 15 years of sales and marketing experience. Let her use that experience to take the stress out of buying or selling a home. Hardest working realtor in Central Ohio, 110% and 24/7 availability. Laura Listabarger, Century 21. Tonight's Groveport Sports Network Realtor of the Game. Call her at 614-325-1443 or online at century21.com. As Elliott no good on the three, but Elliott deflected the outlet pass by Searles. Dropped it underneath to Singleton, who was challenged at the rim by Frey, and they blocked his shot. Taken away by St. Charles. Into the lane, Frey, the lefty, went to the right hand and finished. So Jared Frey now with 8 of St. Charles 21, and the Cardinals now with an 8-point advantage about 40 seconds into this second quarter. Saturday Night Hoops from Cruiser Arena. Little weave out here, and Diallo fakes the weave and takes it to the rim, but unable to finish off the glass, and Doogie James out in transition. James, 15-footer, no good. Monroe, the defensive rebound. Elyjah head up, looking to push. Singleton to Whiteside, 3 on that left baseline, no good. Ball batted around and ends up in the hands of Kenyatta. Into the lane, Monroe went to a left hand. Singleton kept it alive. Fresh possession for the Cruisers. Diallo attacks, and what? Waiting for a call, and it's an offensive foul on Diallo. Two of our officials kind of stared at each other and then finally decided we're going to go player control, and it's the first on Diallo. Boy, the dramatic pause there. They went literally 6 or 7 seconds staring at each other and kind of a who's going to call this and what call are we going to make. As Devin Singleton sits down, Devin scoreless. Zay Tatum back in with no points and a foul. 21-13, 6:36 to play first half. It's Reeder out there between the circles. Now to Utz, around the horn to Martin. They tried to feed Searles under there, and an in-pound pass or interior pass was deflected out of bounds. It'll stay with St. Charles with 6:24 to play first half. Heiberger Paving halftime show is fast approaching. Looks like they are going to let Reeder shoot that jump shot. Only averages 2.5 points a game and has not made a three-point shot this year. And so right on cue, he takes one dribble and hits the 15-footer and says, you better guard me now. 23-13, double-digit lead. Monroe, no, but he'll get 2. It's a smart play by Juan Reeder. Knows that three-point shot not in the arsenal. They were playing so far off of him. He attacked with just one dribble and got to a spot where he's a lot more comfortable as he buried the 15-footer. And Monroe, who has had an awful time at the free throw line this year, 8 of 19 coming in, 42%, 23-13. Frey sits down as 21 Ryan Utz steps back in, the 6'3 junior, and Elyjah Monroe missed a pair. 23-13, under 6 minutes to play first half. Doogie James working against Monroe. Underneath to Searles against Whiteside. Went to a left hand, no good. Tip, no, but somebody got him. Elliott down there, Tatum down there, and it was Reeder on that backside, and I think they're going to charge this to Zay Tatum, and that's going to be number 2 on him. So good effort there by Juan Reeder on that backside to catch it in midair, and got fouled in the process of doing so. Reeder, a first-year varsity kid, 75% at the stripe coming in. Limited opportunities. Hits the first, now with 3 points in this game. Chase Walker back in. Victor Searles will sit down. One more for the 6'2 sophomore Reeder, who bends the knees. This one too strong, and ball loose, and Tatum a rebound, and they're going to get a hold on Chase Walker. So the loose ball foul on Walker is his first, team first, with 5:36 to play in this first half. 24-13. Cruisers down 11 after Reeder splits a pair. Diallo, right elbow, blocked by Reeder. 2-on-1 break, and they dropped it off way too late, did Reeder. Got it to Doogie James at a point where you have to shoot the basketball at that point, and he couldn't grab it. It's a turnover back to the Cruisers. Monroe on that right baseline. They'll bring it back out to Diallo. Josh Whiteside, they said this co-captain, only a sophomore, first sophomore co-captain that Jacob Daniel has ever had. He's in street clothes on the bench, the big fella in the gray travel suit, and said, Rick, he'll be the loudest guy over there. Just found out he's not going to be able to finish the year as Diallo hits a three, or they knew that, but still, some guys would be down, and I'm sure Whiteside wants to play, but he has been a tremendous vocal leader for this team that is very, very quiet everywhere else. Walker, no good. Reeder, an offensive rebound. Slap that. And what? They're going to call 3 seconds here on Juan Reeder. Here comes Jared Frey back in with 8. Brian Utt will sit down. Utt, the 6'3 junior. Doesn't play a ton. Actually, he's had some DNPs this year. And Jacob Daniel, I thought, gave Ryan Utt the ultimate compliment. He said, Coach, one day he was talking to him after a DNP, trying to console him. And Ryan Utt said, you don't have to do that, Coach. Whatever you need, I will do. So that means if I play 25 minutes on Tuesday, I'm going to look the same to you as the night that I don't get any minutes at all. And, boy, that's hard to do. That is maturity right there. That is a team-first attitude. And, my friends, being really honest with you, it is foreign and nearly absent in sports today. 24-16. Well done, Ryan Utt, and whoever raised that young man. Right side, it's Jared Frey. Rebound, Diallo. Outlet to Monroe. Monroe 2-on-3 rather. Shoots it anyway and dropped it in. Little stop and start, and Elyjah Monroe with a 7-point first half, and the Cruisers within a half dozen. It's 24-18. James over to Martin. Underneath now to Walker. Interior pass to Reeder, who kind of wasn't expecting it. Over Tatum, and he dropped it in. Boy, they're getting good minutes tonight from Juan Reeder, who now has 5 and the lead back up to 8 as Monroe, a 3 no good, and a good box out there by Chase Walker. Third on this team with 4.4 rebounds a game. Into the lane, Frey, and walked, but they're going to say that he was fouled before he shuffled those feet, and it's going to be charged to Marlon Elliott, who picks up his first. Here comes Searles, here comes Jones, here comes Singleton. Thought Jacob Daniel gave Chase Walker the ultimate compliment. They have had so many good players. Got a young man right now we'll tell you about as the broadcast goes on, 6'11", freshman of the year in the league that Belmont University is in down in Nashville that made March Madness last year. And Jacob Daniel says if Chase Walker continues to grow at 6'5", if he becomes 6'8" or 6'9", he says, Rick, he may end up being the best player that St. Charles has had in the last 30 or 40 years, and called him a teddy bear that has no idea how big of an upside that he truly has. Ryan Gratial is called a First Watch Daytime Cafe Cruisers timeout. First Watch Daytime Cafe on Route 256 in Reynoldsburg. Visit firstwatch.com to learn more. Be a hero to your kids. Host a birthday party at Magic Mountain Family Fun Center. Their birthday party packages include entertainment, food, and fun for all ages. Visit magicmountainfuncenter.com for more details. Magic Mountain Family Fun Centers, where you bring the family and we bring the fun. Smith Farm Market is open year-round. At least their bakery is during the winter months from 10 to 6. Cookies, especially their delicious no-bakes, along with Buckeyes, fudge, cheesecake, and pies. They also have a selection of local meats, Amish cheeses, and local honey. Keep an eye out for their delicious homemade chocolate-covered strawberries as we near Valentine. Smith Farm Market on Winchester Pike. Visit smithfarmmarketohio.com. 26-18, under 3 minutes to play first half. Heiberger Paving halftime show is upcoming as Elliott missed badly on that three-point attempt. And Ryan Gratial really upset that he settled for that shot. He's yelling attack against him. Feel like they have an advantage, and they sure do if they can get Victor Searles away from the perimeter or force him to have to defend. And Marlon Elliott, one of the best athletes on this team, and they're going to get Marlon for a hand check here with 2 minutes and 30 seconds to play. It's number 2 on him, and it's number 6 on the team. And we touched on it. He fouled out yesterday, and with the roster, the bench the way it is right now, they can ill afford to have a sequel to that tonight. 26-18, Frey underneath. He skips it to Martin right where he should be, and that three on the left baseline is no good. Leaking out is Monroe. He'll fire from 15 and hits. Boy, out on the run, gathered himself and quickly rose up and hit it. 26-20, the Cruisers within 6. Walker into the lane, the big fella on the ground, ball loose, and finally he was tied up, and the possession arrow will keep it here. Walker still down as one of the Cruisers on top of him, and finally they get Tymere Jones to quit leaning on Chase Walker, and it's probably good it was that way and not vice versa. Tymere may be no more. 26-20, 2 minutes to play in the half. Heiberger Paving halftime show fast approaching. The Comfort Dental first half stats and a peek at the Mount Carmel Medical Group injury report. One number one against the other. Matchup of quicks, Tougie James and Tymere Jones. James a sophomore, Jones a senior. James got the step and went to the left hand and put it in. We touched on it last night. If you don't guard a lefty on a regular basis, it's hard to defend him sometimes. I played behind a guy my senior year in college that was a left-hander. You think you're playing good D, and then he shoots it at an angle that you're not used to having the basketball shot at, and he scores. Monroe threw it away, threw it right into the hands of Tougie James, who tried to put it behind his back and lost it. Jones a little stop and start, and he attacked and put it in. 28-22. Martin will bring it back out. Top of the key, it's Jared Frey, picked up by the sophomore Diallo. Frey had that off handout. Justin Patrick, Cruiser assistant, was pleading for an offensive foul. You can have that off handout. That's not a violation. It's when you extend it and start creating an advantage with it, and I'm not sure Frey did. Top of the key, spotting for three, no good, was to his check back in, and that one is no good. Chance to make this maybe a one-possession game, trailing 28-22, 33 seconds to play. Right side, it's Whiteside, into the lane, scooped it up and dropped it in. Kenyatta Whiteside with his second field goal. And it's now 28-24. We're under 20 seconds to play. Diallo to Spencer Martin, senior guard. Better believe the Cardinals going to play for one here. Like a little Princeton set where they were trying to get James to go back door. Runner by Martin is no good. And that's how the first half of basketball is going to end. So St. Charles led by as many as 11. That lead is now down to 4. It's 28-24, and we are at the intermission. Halftime here at Cruiser Arena, 28-24, St. Charles by 4. The Heiberger Paving halftime show is coming up next here on the Groveport Sports Network.
Scotty Bryant, veteran truck driver and member of America's Road Team on Driving Tired.
I've covered more than 2 million accident-free miles, but I've seen more accidents than I care to. They're senseless crashes caused by drivers who fell asleep at the wheel. I see vehicles at night and they're weaving from lane to lane, sometimes clear off the road. I wish I could tell these drivers to stop, take a nap, or at least get a cup of coffee. It could save their lives. I never drive tired, ever.
A wake-up call for all drivers from the U.S. Department of Transportation and the American Trucking Associations.
They won't tell you it's because you're black.
Honey, I have some bad news. They rejected our offer on the house.
Why?
Who knows? Our agent said it was a real good offer, but the owners wouldn't even counter it.
Do you think it's because we're black, trying to move into a white neighborhood?
I don't know. Maybe we should call Fair Housing and find out.
Denying you the right to buy a home in the neighborhood of your choice is unfair and illegal. Call HUD at 1-800-669-9777. Fair housing is the law.
Your neighbors are going to be there. Friends you haven't seen in years. It's America's biggest event, and people keep coming back for more year after year because they walk out feeling so good, so satisfied. And that's what this event is all about, feeling good about yourself. No, it's not a rock concert. It's bigger, and it's free, so don't miss out. On November 5th, step right up to your local voting booth and vote for your candidate. Vote for your country. But most of all, vote for yourself. Sponsored by the Ad Council.
Hey, tell me what kinds of things you want to do this summer.
This is from a video of Bethany Cartledge.
I want to play in my new thing.
You have a new sandbox?
Bethany lived for summer vacations until a drunk driver killed her.
I'll go play in a sandbox.
All right,
Do
bye-bye.
whatever it takes. Friends don't let friends drive drunk. An appeal from the Ad Council, the Department of Transportation, and this station.
Take me in the sandbox.
Okay.
If money is an obstacle to attaining your educational goal, you'll want to learn more about the training and tuition assistance offered by the United States Navy. You'll receive college credit for your Navy training, tuition assistance to attend college while in the Navy, and if you qualify, up to $30,000 to further your education. Learn more by calling 1-800-USA-NAVY. You and the Navy, full speed ahead.
Welcome to the Young Executives Outdoor Survival Course. I'm Bob, your instructor.
Hi, Bob.
First off, can anyone tell me the proper way to put out this campfire?
Ooh, assemble a committee with all key department heads?
Oh, let's get research involved.
Don't forget legal.
Hold on, folks. To put out a campfire, all you have to do is pour water on it, like this.
Oh.
Then stir it and cover it with dirt. Now, isn't that easy?
Committee?
I say yes.
Let's vote on it.
A message from the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Advertising Council.
This is from a video of Monty Wright.
What I've been told. What a wonderful birthday. You're 1 more year old. On the cake there'll be
Monty Wright, a bright future at 18, killed by a drunk driver at 19.
happy birthday to you.
Do whatever it takes. Friends don't let friends drive drunk. An appeal from the Ad Council, the Department of Transportation, and this station.
This is Delta Burke. If you're like me, you enjoy a good meal. But if you have diabetes like I do, meal times mean more than good food. Testing your blood sugar levels before and after you eat is key to monitoring your diabetes. Look for blood sugar levels of 110 before meals and 140 or less 2 hours later. These levels are right for most people, but talk to your doctor to see if they're right for you. For more information or to find an endocrinologist, a diabetes specialist near you, call 1-866-ENDO-HELP.
McGruff, the crime dog here, watching my nephew Scruff pack for vacation.
Baseball bat with a boom.
What about the expensive collar?
Gonna wear it.
Hold it, kiddo. Pack your valuables. That way you won't attract attention.
Okay, I'll put it in my bag on the back seat.
Lock bags in trunk.
Can't wait until you take a trip and I can tell you what to do.
What's that?
I said I got a lot to do.
Fine, but meanwhile, don't display valuables. Keep bags out of sight and try not to look like an obvious tourist.
And that'll help
Take a bite out of crime. A public service message from the U.S. Department of Justice, the Crime Prevention Coalition, and the Ad Council.
Halftime here at Cruiser Arena, where St. Charles leads Groveport Madison 28-24. My name is Rick Cooper. Watching our coverage, maybe live, also available on demand. If you are watching it live, remember you can come back and watch it as many times as you'd like, completely free of charge. We do welcome you to the Heiberger Paving halftime show, founded in 1977. The family at Heiberger Paving has been a premier commercial paving and blacktop contractor for more than 42 years. At Heiberger Paving, they continue to work to build a reputation instead of just resting on one. Heiberger Paving, 458 Waterloo Street in Canal Winchester, is a proud supporter of Cruisers Athletics. Why don't we take a look at tonight's Comfort Dental first half stats? They are presented by Comfort Dental in Whitehall. Comfort Dental's Gold Plan offers the access of group dental care plus the individualized attention of private care. The Comfort Dental Gold Plan provides up to 2 simple teeth cleanings, examinations, x-rays, and other preventive dentistry at no additional charge. Comfort Dental, 4545 East Main Street in Whitehall, is the exclusive sponsor of tonight's first half stats. Learn more by calling 231-1600 or learn more online at comfortdental.com. Those Comfort Dental first half stats. First of all, for St. Charles, they get 5 in the first half for Cruisers get 5 in the first half for Tymir Jones, 9 for Elyjah Monroe to lead the way, and 3 apiece for Abubakar Diallo and Marlon Elliott. They also get 4 off the bench tonight from Kenyatta Whiteside, who now has 15 points over the last 2 games. Cruisers had 2 free throw attempts out of the hand of Elyjah Monroe, and they missed both of them. For St. Charles, scoring numbers in that first half, Jared Frey leads the way as part of your Comfort Dental first half stats, leads them with 8, 5 for Derek Doogie James, 5 for Juan Reeder, who gave them good minutes, only averages 2.5 points coming in, so he has doubled up his scoring average. 4 in the first half for Victor Searles. Spencer Martin added 3, and the big fella Chase Walker had 2. St. Charles 2 of 4 from the stripe for 50%. The Cardinals led 19-13 after 1. Cruisers actually won that second quarter 11-9, and that gets us to our score at the intermission, where St. Charles leads Groveport Madison by the score of 28-24. In terms of foul trouble, nobody with 2 for St. Charles. They only committed 1 as a team in that first half. Groveport Madison, Zay Tatum and Marlon Elliott, both with 2 fouls in the first 16 minutes of basketball. Those are your Comfort Dental first half stats. The winning team at Comfort Dental in Whitehall is committed to making quality dentistry affordable. New patients and emergencies are welcome. Most insurance plans are accepted. Comfort Dental offers convenient hours, including evenings and Saturdays. Comfort Dental, 4545 East Main Street in Whitehall. They are the exclusive sponsor of tonight's Groveport Sports Network. Comfort Dental halftime stats. Visit comfortdental.com to learn more. Why don't we take a peek at tonight's Mount Carmel Medical Group injury report, brought to you by Mount Carmel Sedalia, pleased to offer you and your family a lifetime of expert primary health care, because you deserve to have a physician who listens to your concerns. It'll coordinate care that's unique to you. Schedule an appointment with a physician near you by visiting mountcarmelmedicalgroup.com. And for Groveport Madison, some not availables today as we take a look at that injury report. Devin Singleton is available today. 6'2" senior has missed 7 games with a thigh contusion, but second consecutive game he has been back. Came off the bench last night, got the start tonight. No Elyjah Aekins, 5'11" junior guard, continues to be bothered by his own thigh contusion. Elyjah Monroe, a deep bone bruise that is not 100%, but Monroe started tonight. John Motton is out. He's on a college visit up at Toledo. Scotty Lomax and Ray Whitfield are out tonight per coach's decision. That is tonight's Mount Carmel Medical Group injury report. Having the right doctor for you when you need it is a great thing. Having the right doctor in a location that's convenient is even better. Find the right doctor today so that tomorrow can be even better, and you do that by visiting mountcarmelmedicalgroup.com. Standings in the OCC Capital, Newark first at 6-1. They have a 2-game lead on everybody with 3 league games left. Canal, New Albany, Groveport Madison, all 2 games back at 4-3. Big Walnut is 3-4. They're 5th. Franklin Heights is 6th. They're 0-7. Cruisers hosting St. Charles today. The only other Capital team in action, Newark, is playing Whitehall today over at Ohio Dominican. St. Charles active today in CCL play here at Groveport, and Hartley is hosting Wellington. St. Charles right now a game and a half behind DeSales in the standings. That puts a wrap on the Heiberger Paving halftime show, whether it's asphalt paving or sports surfaces. The dedicated crew at Heiberger Paving, the experience needed to keep your surfaces solid, well-maintained, and perfect. To learn more, visit HeibergerPaving.com. Underway here in the third quarter. We change sides. Cruisers will have it first, and they're moving left to right. Diallo, runner on the rim, no good. Searles, a defensive rebound. Cruisers got a good look there as they come up empty on their opening possession here in the second half. Reeder thought about raising up on another one of those 15-footers. Right baseline, it's Martin. Looking for Searles down there against Singleton, but Victor looks content to come out and set a screen. Trying to roll, Martin threw the basketball away. Cruisers played the pick and roll well there. Monroe left side. Over to Diallo. Searles comes out. And they're waving everybody out and going to let Diallo go one-on-one against big Victor Searles. Diallo, a little shake and bake, now kicks it to Monroe, who hoists a three, no good. And a rebound run down there by Doogie James. James grabs 3.4 rebounds a game to go with his 5.2 assists and nearly 10 points a game. 9.6, third best on the team. Diallo open in transition. His three no good. Tatum an offensive rebound, and he dropped it in. Zay Tatum with his first two, had two last night in that loss to Canal Winchester. Cruisers had the lead in that game for the first time with 4:45 left, only to watch the Indians go on a 16-9 run down the stretch, and basketball went out of bounds, and they're going to say it went out of bounds off of Spencer Martin, and it'll go back to the Cruisers. So Canal wins the season series. They sweep it in the final time, at least over the next 4 years, that these two teams, Canal and Groveport, will be in the league. They will head separate directions next year as Marlon Elliott, the one-handed fireball pass that was off the mark. And you young players watching at home, that's exactly why you throw it with two hands, so that if it plugs up and it's no longer there, you can pull back and you're not committed. When you throw a one-handed pass, you are absolutely committed to doing it once you start the process. There's no way at that kind of velocity that you're going to be able to pull back and stop. And understand sometimes it's got to be a one-handed pass, but 95 out of 100 times there should be two hands on that basketball. 28-26 as Reeder got himself in some trouble underneath the basket, and he threw it away. Monroe tried to step through on Martin, and he stayed right with him, and Elyjah just threw the basketball over the timeline, and Elyjah kind of hollering at Marlon a little bit, and I'm not sure what the heck Marlon Elliott could have done. That thing was clearly thrown over the midcourt line and would have been a violation regardless. 28-26, Cruisers down only 2 as we near 5.5 minutes to play third quarter. Tatum again playing about 6 feet in from that three-point line against Reeder. Fires it left side to Utt, back out to Martin, around the horn to Reeder, and he shuffled the feet. He's thinking about it now. I'm going to catch that ball on the right wing. I've not hit a three the whole year, so it's kind of, should I shoot it? Should I attack? And in the process of kind of overthinking it there, Juan Reeder forgot to get a foot down before he made his move, and he slid the foot and traveled. 28-26, Cruisers could tie it or maybe take the lead here. Monroe against Martin. Fakes the pass, little 10-footer, no good. Walker, the defensive rebound for St. Charles. Frey into the lane. Kicks it out left side to Reeder. Now to Martin. They'll feed Frey against Diallo just off that left block. And the lefty, a little turnaround on the rim, no good. Ball batted around and ends up in the hands of Marlon Elliott. to Diallo. Got the step into the lane, spun it onto the rim, no, and somebody fouled somebody. It's going to be St. Charles' Jared Frey that is the guilty party. The question will be, was he in the act of shooting? And I think they're going to say that Diallo was. So what that says to me is that was a very late foul call. May have been the right call, maybe it wasn't, but regardless, Diallo had finished the process of shooting that basketball when it was finally blown as a foul. Kenyatta Whiteside is back in. So you're Raising Cane's lineup, Marlon Elliott to Boubacar Diallo, Kenyatta Whiteside, Zay Tatum, and Elyjah Monroe. Second one for Diallo is good. Boubacar, one of the best on this team at the stripe, 74%. Splits a pair. Cruisers were 0 of 2 at the stripe in the first half, now 1 of 4. They feed Ryan Utt out there between the circles. Now to Martin, right back to Utt. Lefty against lefty, he and Whiteside. Left side, it's Reeder. Again, thinking about it, is Tatum really daring him to shoot it. 4:10 to play third quarter. 28-27, the Cruisers on a 3-0 run to start the third have closed to within 1. Reeder going to go to that free throw line, extended again, and thought about shooting it, and this time he passed it up. Little game of chess here, a little chess match, and they're going to get a foul here. And see who they charge this to. It's going to be charged to whom? I'm saying number 10, and that's Diallo. It's his second. Team first, they inbound it to Reeder. Now to Martin, now left side Reeder, and what? They're going to get a hold down there. And Diallo having words. Said something that Zay Tatum said, we got to get him out of the basketball game immediately. So Boubacar just picked up his third as he was trying to defend the bigger Jared Frey around the rim. So he looks demoralized as he heads to the bench. 28-27, here we go again. Reeder in that 15-foot range, now into about a 12-foot jumper, no good. And Tatum had a hand on the basketball, and eventually a tie-up is going to be called. And the possession arrow is going to keep it with St. Charles. It was Tatum and Utt that were tied up with 3:41 to play. Jared Frey had an 8-point first half. NBA range, best friends with Isaac Searles. They get the ball into Searles, the big brother, Victor, who dropped it in for his third field goal. And the foul, I believe, here is going to be charged on Elliott. It is his third, team third, fifth free throw of the game coming up for St. Charles. Chance to make it a 2-possession game. Victor Searles, 54% on the year. Rim, backboard rim, no good. Utt, a tip, and finally Zay Tatum, a defensive rebound. Tatum, an outlet to Elliott. Right side, Jones in rhythm. His three, no good. Working hard is Whiteside, and he forced an extra possession. Good job by Kenyatta. He won't get credit for a rebound there, but he should, because he kept it alive and knocked it out of bounds off of Reeder, and it'll stay with Groveport Madison. 3:24 to play third quarter, 30-27. They inbounds the ball to Tymere Jones. To Elliott, right back to Jones, right side. Guarded by their senior guard, Spencer Martin. Marlon Elliott, right wing, it's Jones. Thought about another one of those long threes. Now finding Monroe, who's going to reset and bring it back out a couple feet so he can attack. His finish no good. Tip by Whiteside is no good. Back out to Tatum. Left baseline, Monroe hoists a three, no good. Whiteside nearly kept it alive again. Good job by Kenyatta Whiteside, just getting touches around the rim. Frey right wing to Reeder. Here we go again. This is unbelievable. They are just daring this young man. This is the value of scouting these days, where you've got game tapes available, and Frey says, I'll shoot it from out here, thank you very much. His three no good, and Whiteside right on cue, another rebound. Elliott skips it left side to Jones. Jones waiting. His three missed everything. And Searles a rebound. Out to Frey, and Marlon Elliott just picked up his fourth foul. His team fourth, and Ryan Gratial saying, I can just hear a little bit in his body language as he's pointing to his head, saying you got to play smart there. He has 3 fouls at that point, and now has to sit down with a fourth foul and 2:10 to play. And I think this is something, if you want my honest analysis of it, as a guy that has seen a lot of basketball here, I think this is something that could plague Elliott down the road. I mean, he has got to play with a little less hands, a little bit more feet. I think he is very aggressive defensively, and you like that, but has the potential to get him in foul trouble and be one of those guys that is foul-plagued, and they're going to get Searles, who slid the pivot foot as he got a little bit out of control at that left block. So the lead stays at 3, 30-27. Victor Searles, we touched on it in the Sedalia Dental pregame show, lost 35 pounds the last 3 months of the season last year. His dad's an assistant coach. He was lethargic. He was no good. I mean, was not doing much for them. And finally he said enough is enough, got a nutritionist, and has really elevated his play. 14.4 points, 6.4 rebounds. He's another one of the guys on this team that really doesn't say a word, just plays basketball, and it sounds like a good thing, but you talk to Jacob Daniel, and they really desperately need some vocal leadership. Josh Whiteside was the guy who gave that to them and is still giving it to him now on the sideline. He has been declared ineligible per OHSAA transfer rules as he moved in or came over from Gahanna Lincoln after his freshman year, but still leading is Josh Whiteside. They fire it underneath to Tatum. Had to run out to the right wing to snag it. Minute 20 to play, third quarter. 30-27 Cruisers. Monroe left baseline, and Jones hits a three. Tymeer Jones with 8. We have our 6th tie or lead change, and right back at him, Reeder missed one up close. So the Cruisers with an opportunity to take their first lead in a long time. As Jones into the lane, no, and it'll stay here with the Cruisers, out of bounds off of either Searles, Reeder, or Doogie James. Here comes big Chase Walker into the game with 52 seconds to play. Searles will sit down, Walker back with 2. Big Victor Searles sits down with a half dozen. Trying to think if the Cruisers had the lead at any point. I have 6 ties or lead changes, but they may have all been ties. Maybe they led. You'll have to go back and watch the video. I'm not sure they did. 40 seconds to play, third quarter. Jared Frey off a screen from Walker. The lefty working to his right, put it up and in. Nicely done by Jared Frey. His first points of the second half. He has 10. And under a half minute to play, St. Charles has retaken the lead. It's 32-30. Ryan Gratial announcing the play, says we're going to run Ohio, and we're going to do it at 12, which is now. We're at 8 or 9, and Abubakar Diallo about 3 seconds late. We'll see if they can still run it. Monroe into the lane, lost his footing, and a jump ball is going to be called, and it'll stay right here. So 1.5 to play. Diallo will bring it in underneath the Cruiser basket. 32-30. Diallo looking, still looking. Lobs it to Monroe. It would count if it goes in. And it's a little bit too strong, and that's how the third quarter is going to end. So Cruisers were down by as many as 11 in that first half. Well, they have slowly again, just like last night, chipped away at the deficit. And they'll head to the fourth quarter trailing by just 2, 32-30. Well, that was a low-scoring third quarter. Cruisers won that third quarter 6-4. Are you kidding me? 6-4. They win the third quarter. How many nights can you score 6 in a quarter and outscore your opponent. Well, the Cruisers just did, and they trail by 2, 32-30 as we head to the fourth. I want to say thanks again to Buffalo Wild Wings. They are tonight's restaurant of the game. We were there last night for a video replay of that Big Canal Winchester Groveport Madison boys basketball game. 63-40 Prentice School Place in Canal Winchester. Thanks also to Lisa Sane with State Farm Insurance. Tonight's State Farm Insurance agent of the game. She helps you manage the risks of everyday life, recover from the unexpected, and realize your dreams. State Farm Insurance agent Lisa Sane is tonight's insurance agent of the game. 152 Main Street in Groveport, 830-0450 or lisasane.com. And you see our official game sponsor in the top left corner of your screen. That's Canal Chiropractic. Maybe a logo that you haven't seen before. Dr. Scott Wade, Dr. Nick Miller. 27 years of chiropractic experience allows them to provide you with personalized care, 20 different treatment techniques to help you to feel better fast. Canal Chiropractic and Rehab, 833-0563. You can also visit them on the web at canalchiro.com. Walker missed. Frey was the one that missed first. Walker an attempt, no, but finally, big Chase Walker was fouled, and he'll go to the line and shoot 2. And they're going to charge that one to Devin Singleton. First on Devin and the 5th on the team. Big Chase Walker, most immovable player that Jacob Daniels says I have ever coached. Great hands, great feet. He says if he grows a couple more inches, he could be the best big man, the best player, period, that we've had at St. Charles in the last 30 or 40 years. Said you look at him and you're tough on him. He's 305 pounds. You're barking at him like he's a Division I college athlete. And he says, Rick, at times I've got to kind of exhale and remember this kid's 14 years old. Left-handed free throw shooter. Misses the first. Bends the knees. Second one no good again. And Whiteside the rebound. 32-30. 7:35 to play. St. Charles here in town. School of 550 near Bexley, all-boys school. Part of that Central Catholic League, the CCL, as Singleton missed a tip. So the lead stays at 2, and St. Charles going to try to extend on it here. Skip pass to Frey, picked up by Jones. Frey into the lane. Double pumped, had the basketball slapped out of bounds, and it's going to go back to Groveport Madison. Had a really good run 3 years ago. They got to the regional semis, did St. Charles, before they lost to Pickerington Central. Had a kid on that team by the name of Nick Mazinski. He's playing down at Belmont University, 6'11 center down there. Started all 32 games last year when he was the league's freshman of the year. This year as a sophomore, he's the preseason player of the year candidate in the league. Averaging better than 16 a game, 6.9 rebounds. Both of those are second best. 1.7 blocks is first, and 63% from the field is first. So as you're watching March Madness, you're picking your Cinderella stories. Remember Belmont University, because they may be there again. I think they had never been there before. It's a school that is primarily a music school. That's what they're known for. Amy Grant, Vince Gill, big fans of Belmont University, but it's a school that St. Charles is well represented at, and you may see a big fella, 6'11", again, Nick Mazinski. Only a sophomore down there doing big things in Country Music City. And Spencer Martin just hit a 3. He's got a half dozen. And Jacob Daniels going to call a First Watch Daytime Cafe Cardinals timeout. First Watch Daytime Cafe, Route 256 in Reynoldsburg. No heat lamps or deep fryers. It's breakfast, lunch, or brunch all day long. Visit firstwatch.com for more details. Again, tonight's restaurant of the game is Buffalo Wild Wings. They are a proud supporter of Cruisers Athletics. Hot wings, cold beverages, the hottest sports action. They've got some great daily specials. They're hand-breaded chicken tenders. They're new. Try them out. Wing specials on Tuesday and Thursday nights, family night Wednesdays, all at Buffalo Wild Wings, 6340 Prentice School Place in Canal Winchester, tonight's restaurant of the game. Flyers Pizza and Subs, the official pizza of the Groveport Sports Network. Dine-in, carry-out, delivery, all available. You can order it right now. They'll have your order waiting for you at their convenient pickup window immediately after the game. Flyers Pizza and Subs is the official pizza of Cruisers Athletics. Thanks also to Ireland Spa, Ron and Beth Ireland in Canal Winchester, also a location in Lancaster. They're named a top 5 hair salon and a top 5 spa in Columbus. Your home for haircuts and colors, massages, nail services, hair removal, skincare, and much more. Ireland Spa. Visit IrelandSpa.com for more details. So I want to encourage you to sponsor as many of these people that you hear. At the very least, stop in and tell them you heard them on the Groveport Sports Network. Stop in and tell them thanks for helping us get these games on the air. As Whiteside, they run a play for him out of the timeout, and he buries it. Kenyatta with 7. And them Cruisers back within a single possession. They trailed 35-33. Into the lane. Reeder went to the left hand and finished. No indecision there by Juan Reeder. Take it strong, big fella. He has 7. 37-33. Diallo a little bit out of control. 2-on-2 break, and Doogie James will bring it back out at least momentarily and reset. Under 5.5 to play in the game. 37-33, St. Charles. And what? They're going to call something illegal here, and I think it's going to be an illegal screen on Jared Frey as he tried to get free the big fella, Chase Walker, coming block to block. Foul on Frey is his 3rd, team 4th. No argument from the sophomore guard. Jared Frey last year took more shots, maybe more bad shots, you would say. Jacob Daniel was not tough on him, allowed him to kind of learn, didn't want to hurt his confidence. He said, Rick, there's been one time this year he took a bad shot in a CCL game, and I barked at him and made him sit down as Diallo misses. Tymir Jones, an offensive rebound, no good. Finally a rebound to Walker as we're going to call a hold here on one of the Cruisers, and Ryan Grachel's upset at the lack of the elbow called by Chase Walker. And I think the issue here, as many of the Cruiser fans really upset right now, is the fact that the hold by Tymir Jones, is that what that's saying? They haven't put it on the board yet. They say 2. And number 2 is Elyjah Aekins, so it is a full timeout. And I think they're going to get this on the board and get it right. I think there's no doubt that Walker kind of swung that elbow high, and they still could address that. But the bigger issue was that the hold on one of the Cruisers was called before that elbow was swung. And so I'm still waiting to see who this foul is on as Whiteside checks in. Right now, it still says number 2, and that's not right because 2 is Elyjah Aekins, and he is not in uniform today. So, well, it's a First Watch Daytime Cafe Cruisers timeout, Route 256 in Reynoldsburg. No heat lamps or deep fryers, but I don't think it's on Tymir Jones either. Sometimes that scoreboard's a little tricky as you see it up in your right side of your screen. Is it the first foul on number 2, or is it the second foul on number 1? Tymir Jones already has 2 personal fouls. So if it's a foul on Tymir Jones, it would be his 3rd. It is a foul that we'll charge it to Jones, and we'll leave it as his 2nd. We do know for a fact it's number 7 on the team, and we're going to shoot a 1-and-1 at the other end. And it'll be shot by the big fella, 6'5" freshman Chase Walker. Soft touch. We heard about his hands, his good footwork. 81% on the year is a team best, and he hits the free throw there. Only 3 points in this game for Walker. Was going to tell you a story, though, about Jared Frey. Last year, when there was some situations in practice where they were getting ready to run, they would, Jacob Daniel would give an opportunity to Frey on behalf of the team to go to the volleyball line and shoot a shot. We've told you this young man has NBA range, and even when he doesn't, he does. He's one of those kind of guys that just loves to shoot the basketball, so they took Frey back to that volleyball line, and he took 10 shots over, many, many weeks of practice. And the story is, according to Jacob Daniel, if he hit the shot, the team would not have to run. And most guys, you would just get on the line as they call a carry on Abubakar Diallo. It's a second consecutive night they have called that carry on a little hesitation move by Diallo. But, yeah, somebody shooting from the volleyball line on my team, I'm going to the line because we're going to be running. Well, not with Jared Frey. So they did it 10 times last year, and Jared Frey made 9 of them, 39-33. 6-point game, 4:20 to play. James back out to Spencer Martin. Into the lane, Reeder, 10-footer, too strong. Ball loose into the hands of James. Little 10-footer, no good. James had an offensive rebound. Diallo finally ends up with it for the Cruisers. Outlet to Whiteside. He threw it away. St. Charles with numbers. Frey to the other end. The lefty with the right hand dropped it in. And all of a sudden, this was a 32-30 game. St. Charles now on a, 9-1 run in the first 4 minutes and 20 seconds of this fourth quarter. Elliott out there playing with 4 fouls with it on that left wing. Right side, it's Diallo. Back out to Monroe. 3:25 to play in the game. 41-33. We expected a good one. Cruisers trying to do it without 4 guys as Monroe got big and got strong and got wide and dropped it in for points 10 and 11. Monroe leads the way with 11. Tymeer Jones second for the Cruisers with 8. No Scotty Lomax, no Ray Whitfield, no John Motton, no Elyjah Aekins. It's a St. Charles team that on Monday night knocked off the number 8 team in Division I in the state of Ohio. Talking about Chillicothe, the Cruisers trying to find a way to win here tonight at Cruiser Arena. They have lost 2 in a row, and 3 of their last 4 as Reeder a little bit off balance. His shot never got there. Taken away by the Cruisers. Down 6, 2.5 to play. Monroe, a little stop and start, and Walker blocked his shot. And that's about as demonstrative as you'll see anybody tonight in a Cardinals uniform. Maybe a little slight fist pump and a little accentuation of that right hand by Walker, and that's it. 30-second timeout called by Ryan Grayshall. It's a First Watch Daytime Cafe Cruisers timeout, breakfast, lunch, or brunch. With no heat lamps or deep fryers at First Watch Daytime Cafe, Route 256 in Reynoldsburg. Visit firstwatch.com to learn more. Laura Listabarger's tonight's realtor of the game. Laura's with Century 21. You sports fans understand the value of a good team, and never is a good team more important than when you're buying or selling a home. Laura Listabarger and the Century 21 team take the stress out of the home buying process. She uses her experience, resources, outstanding customer service. As one recent client put it, Laura made a stressful and complicated process smooth and stress-free. Laura Listabarger is tonight's realtor of the game, 325-1443, or online at century21.com. Dangerous inbound that Jones had a little bit of trouble grabbing. Ends up in the hands of Tatum, out to Elliott. Elliott left his feet and lived to talk about it. 41-35, 2:15 to play. Cruisers are spread out here. Now Tatum comes up to set a screen. Diallo gonna fire a huge 3. 7 for Abubakar, and that may be game-saving. He misses that one, and it's still a 6-point game with 2 minutes left. Now this is a 1-possession game. Cruisers have committed 7 fouls as a team. St. Charles only 4. Doogie James out on that right wing. Elliott coming out to double him. Right side, it's Martin. Martin back out to Doogie James. Back out to Frey, and St. Charles in no hurry here. Very smart basketball team. Going to try to send a double at him. Reeder got rid of it quickly. Martin thought about a 3, and they're going to call an offensive foul on Chase Walker away from the basketball, who looks totally perplexed at the call. was called down there by our referee, Eric Valentine, 10 years as an official. Victor Searle's going to come in, 6 points for St. Charles, as Chase Walker will sit down with 4 points and 2 fouls. So 1:19 to play. Martin nearly shot that 3 on the right baseline, but then tried to bring it out and chew up a little bit more clock. But the offensive foul has Tatum trying to tie it or get within 1, I beg your pardon, and he comes up empty. A little bit short, 41-38, 1 minute to play. Ryan Grayshall saying, let's bring some extra pressure. Reeder to Searles. Back out to Doogie James. Here comes Tatum to try to help Jones underneath Searles, and he is fouled with 48.7, and I think that's a good foul right there by Elyjah Monroe. Cruisers did everything they could to get the steal, and once Victor Searles has that basketball, he was looking to shoot it and make it a 2-possession game. Monroe sensed it. It's still a 1-and-1 opportunity. And Victor Searles only a 54% free throw shooter. So I think that's exactly what you had to do, and the statistics would say that he may miss this one, and if he does, he's going to miss the second. Searles hits the first. He now has 7. 42-38. If he misses this one, you can still get a quick 2 at the other end, and he doesn't. So Victor Searles says, heck with the statistics, Rick Cooper, 54%. It's 2 big ones now, and it's a 5-point game, 43-38, 48.7 left. You still don't have to have the 3 here. Can go with a quick 2, and I think that's what Monroe's going to do, and Spencer Martin bodied him up and fouled him. Elyjah with 13. So all they wanted at that point was a quick layup, and Spencer Martin compounded things by fouling him in the process. For a moment there, I thought he was playing just good defense, going to make him work a little bit, and it was clear cut that he did way too much with the lower body around the rim. And Monroe no good on the free throw. Whiteside had an offensive rebound, and looked like he was fouled. Martin to the other end. The basket is good, and he was fouled. It's an intentional foul on Zay Tatum. So points 7 and 8 for Spencer Martin. And it's an intentional foul because Zay Tatum made no play on the basketball. He came in with just a hard forearm into the back. And so it's an intentional foul. The bucket is good for Spencer Martin. Tatum has picked up his 3rd. It's the 9th on the team. And the first thing we're going to do here, we're going to shoot the 1 free throw because the basket was good. So we're not going to shoot 2 on this one, right? No, we are going to shoot 2. And the basketball? This is interesting here now. Ryan Grayshall asking, why are we shooting 2 plus the made basket, plus you're going to give them the basketball? Fellas, I don't think this is right. And the second free throw is no good. So Martin splits a pair. An intentional foul is 2 and the basketball. You just allowed Spencer Martin to shoot 2 even though he made the shot. I still don't think they managed that correctly. 46-40, my stat sheet's a mess right now after that. 6-point game with 36 seconds left, and now the men in stripes are going to talk about it. Eric Valentine, Ron Hanna, Matthew Riley. There is no way that you get 2 free throws plus the made basket, plus you bring the ball in. That basket went in. It should have been a bucket, a free throw for the and 1 opportunity, and possession of the basketball as they drop it off to Victor Searles on some action around the rim, and all of a sudden this thing getting out of hand. Jones to the other end, dropped it in, and Ryan Grayshall immediately calls First Watch Daytime Cafe Cruisers timeout. Again, thanks to First Watch Daytime Cafe on Route 256 in Reynoldsburg. Visit firstwatch.com to learn more. So to finish that thought, I foul you intentionally out on the basketball court. Most of the time the ball doesn't go in. And in that situation, on an intentional foul, whether you're shooting or not, you're going to go to the line, shoot 2 free throws, and then keep possession of the basketball. Normally, right, you would shoot 2 free throws and it would go the other way, but that's the punishment. The penalty for an intentional foul is 2 plus the basketball. And when you make the shot, the basket counts. Obviously, you're not going to take that away from the offensive player. And since he was fouled in the act of shooting, he's going to shoot 1 instead of the 2, and then the penalty stays the same. The penalty is after the free throw, the ball doesn't go back to the other team. You still keep it, and I don't think that's right. Obviously, the word intentional foul, by the way, you basketball junkies know, is only left at the high school level. College uses flagrant 1, flagrant 2, so does the NBA, and here they still use the same gesture, but they call it an intentional foul. Really managed the same way as a flagrant 1, as in basically what that is in college is a flagrant 1, and flagrant 2 at the college level is an intentional foul that is an ejection as well. More information than you care to know. With 22.2 seconds left, I can tell you the foul is on Tymier Jones, and it's his 3rd, 10th on the team, and Spencer Martin, it's the first free throw, so give him 9. St. Charles right now, very unofficially, 7 of 13 at the stripe. 49-42, Cruisers running out of time, down 7. As Spencer Martin, 68% free throw shooter, hits the second. They have hit some big ones. Victor Searles hit a couple big ones just a few moments ago, as Jones, no. But he was fouled and will shoot 2. Zay Tatum, Victor Searles to the table. They'll come in after the first free throw out of the hand of Tymier Jones. According to our numbers, only free throws 6 and 7 for the Cruisers. Attempted 2 in the first half and did not make them. This is coming up, free throw number 5 here in the second half. 11 for Jones, 5 in the first half, 6 in the second. And it's now 50-43. 17.6 seconds left. The second one good again for Tymier Jones. Give him 12 points. And it's now 50-44, 2-possession game. Long pass to Martin. Whiteside tried to commit the foul, and they finally call it. I have no idea why the referee right in that vicinity, talking about Matthew Riley, why in the world did you not blow the whistle and call the foul there? It was clear cut. You know they're trying to do it. Ron Hanna had to come in from the other side of the floor to make the call. And I don't know if Mr. Riley's got a 9 p.m. dinner reservation at Flyers Pizza or what, but blew that call. As Spencer Martin misses the first free throw with 11.2 seconds left to play. Foul was on Whiteside, I believe. It's his second. Bucket was good. Right side 3 is no good. Elliott, an offensive rebound. His putback no good. And a rebound to Utt. And that's how this basketball game is going to end. So the final score here at Cruiser Arena, St. Charles gets win number 12 here in 2019-20. And they do it tonight by the final of 51-44. Coming up, the Eddie's Chicken and Waffles post-game show. We'll talk to Ryan Gratial. Take a look at tonight's Colonial Heating and Cooling post-game stats. We'll select and talk to tonight's player of the game in the Eddie's Chicken and Waffles post-game show as well. Final score tonight, the Cardinals beat the Cruisers by the score of 51-44. The Eddie's Chicken and Waffles post-game show is coming up next here on the Groveport Sports Network.
Our mission is one of hope. Since 1896, every day of every year, Volunteers of America has been feeding the elderly, helping troubled youth, sheltering the homeless, and restoring hope to more than 1 million people a year. Find out what you can do. Call 1-800-899-0089 or visit volunteersofamerica.org.
Ready?
Nuts.
Your body's been ready for quite some time.
Ready?
But not your mind. You have lots to do before you have a baby. But don't forget to take folic acid today and every day to prevent birth defects one special day. So when all of you is ready, that baby of yours will be ready to take on the world. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Ready? Nuts.
Ready. Dottie Bryant, veteran truck driver and member of America's Road Team on Driving Tired.
I've covered more than 2 million accident-free miles, but I've seen more accidents than I care to. They're senseless crashes caused by drivers who fell asleep at the wheel. I see vehicles at night and they're weaving from lane to lane, sometimes clear off the road. I wish I could tell these drivers to stop, take a nap, or at least get a cup of coffee. It could save their lives. I never drive tired, ever.
A wake-up call for all drivers from the U.S. Department of Transportation and the American Trucking Associations.
They won't tell you it's because you're black.
Honey, I have some bad news. They rejected our offer on the house.
Why?
Who knows? Our agent said it was a real good offer, but the owners wouldn't even counter it.
Do you think it's because we're black? Trying to move into a white neighborhood?
I don't know. Maybe we should call Fair Housing and find out.
Denying you the right to buy a home in the neighborhood of your choice is unfair and illegal. Call HUD at 1-800-669-9777. Fair housing is the law.
Well, back here at Cruiser Arena, we expected a good one tonight. Cruiser's playing without 4 guys that have an important role on this team. No Scotty Lomax tonight. No John Motton tonight. No Elyjah Aekins tonight. And no Ray Whitfield tonight. And they still made it interesting. Tied it late in that game, and we're down just a couple at the end of the third quarter before St. Charles went on a 19-14 run in the fourth quarter, and they win by the final of 51-44. We do welcome you back to Cruiser Arena, the Eddie's Chicken and Waffles post-game show. My name is Rick Cooper. Great to have you with us for this one. Our next broadcast a week from tonight, yesterday, the 31st. Keep thinking it's a Friday. Feels like a Friday night. We'll play next Friday at the 31st at 7:30 against New Albany. Airtime with the Sedalia Dental pregame show is 7:05. Eddie's Chicken and Waffles, a proud supporter of Cruisers Athletics, serving the best chicken and waffles in all of Central Ohio. Conveniently located at 3252 No Bixby Road in Columbus. You can visit their second location on Livingston Avenue. It's breakfast all day long at Eddie's Chicken and Waffles. Phone 614-829-7770 or visit them online at eddies.chickenandwaffles.com. Time for us to take a look at the Colonial Heating and Cooling post-game stats. Colonial Heating and Cooling is your hometown heating and cooling company. Honest, dependable, affordable. That's why the experienced team at Colonial Heating and Cooling continues to earn an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. No matter what your heating, air conditioning, or refrigeration needs are, Colonial Heating and Cooling, your most reliable source for installation, maintenance, and emergency response to problems. And they are the official HVAC provider of the Groveport Sports Network. To learn more, visit the Colonial Heating and Cooling Facebook page or call them at 614-837-6100. Final numbers here on the Colonial Heating and Cooling post-game stats for St. Charles. We told you they really play 7, and that's what they played tonight, and they get production from 6 of those 7. The only guy that didn't score tonight was Ryan Utt, but they get a dozen from Jared Frey. They get 11 from their starting 2 guard, the senior guard Spencer Martin. 10 from Victor Searles. They put 3 in double digits. 7 tonight from Juan Reeder. 5 tonight from Doogie James. And Chase Walker had 4. St. Charles 9 of 16 from the stripe for 56%. For Groveport Madison, they get a dozen from Tymere Jones. 13 from Elijah Monroe. They get 7 apiece from Kenyatta Whiteside and Abubakar Diallo. 3 tonight from Marlon Elliott, 2 from Zay Tatum. The Cruisers 3 of 7 at the charity stripe for 43%. Those are your Colonial Heating and Cooling post-game stats. Colonial Heating and Cooling, your hometown heating and cooling company, family-owned and operated with emergency services available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Colonial Heating and Cooling is the official HVAC provider of the Groveport Sports Network. Learn more by visiting the Colonial Heating and Cooling Facebook page or by calling 614-837-6100. So appreciate Colonial Heating and Cooling. Again, we're in the midst of the Eddie's Chicken and Waffles post-game show, and always have an opportunity to talk to Ryan Grayshall, courtesy of Great Clips. And on most nights, unless we're headed to Buffalo Wild Wings for a video replay, have an opportunity to talk to tonight's player of the game as well. And we'll do that right now as Elyjah Monroe. Tried to talk to him about a week ago. He's been playing good basketball, and bring the senior guard up here, put a headset on him, and talk a little bit of basketball. And I'm going to get that microphone nice and close to you, Elyjah. But it's a tough one today. Let's start. You're outmanned a little bit, down 4 guys today. And I guess, are you proud considering of that? I know you want to win a basketball game like this, but some other guys had to step up, and it's a tough test to beat a good St. Charles team with no Lomax, no Whitfield, no Motton, and no Elyjah Aekins, who continues to be out with that thigh bruise. Just thoughts as a whole on the guys who had to step up with all those guys gone tonight.
I'm proud of how everybody played. We came out and played hard, but I'm not happy that we didn't win because I always want to win. But yeah, we have 4 people out, and we can't wait for them to come back so we can play as a whole team. But yeah, we're missing them, and we still got to play hard even through all that. We got to come out and play.
The guy that we continue to be without is Elyjah Aekins, and, well, he's a difference maker, Elyjah. I mean, he just gets you guys going in transition. He averages better than 3 steals a game, and in our perspective, it seems like this team struggles a little bit in the half court, but does a whole lot more when you're out on the run, which Elyjah Aekins really allows you to do. How much do you sense you've missed him and what he does just to get this team up and down the floor a little bit more?
Yeah, we definitely miss him because, like you said, he averages like 3 steals a game. He brings it on defense. He brings it all the time. And, yeah, we definitely need a player like that that's willing to sit down on the best player every game, come out and play.
Yeah. What'd you like tonight for the guys that did contribute? I mean, this is a team that, Elyjah, 5 nights ago, they knocked off number 8 in Division I in the state of Ohio in Chillicothe. So this is a good basketball team that just won for the 12th time this year. What did you guys do well tonight, and then what was the difference down the stretch?
I think we did well, like getting in the paint and dishing out the ball, getting to the rim. But yeah, they had a lot of height over us. But yeah, we were down there crashing with them. It was getting big with them. You know, they got way taller than us.
Yeah, and we tried to exploit it, didn't we? I mean, I saw you guys out there. That was obviously the plan of attack. Anytime you could get big Victor Searles away from the rim, 0, and go one-on-one, it seemed like a lot of good things happened.
So yeah, it did. Yeah, we had them come out so we can guards up on top.
Seems like you're playing some of your best basketball right now. Every time we do our injury report, that stupid, I'm going to use the word stupid, deep bone bruise that keeps continuing to plague you, you know. They say you're not 100%. How big of an issue is that right now? Is it getting any better as we go on, or is it getting worse?
Oh, no, I definitely got better.
Good.
Yeah, it was bothering me at the beginning of the season, but I'm good now.
Totally 100% take you off the injury report? Is it that good?
Yes,
okay,
sir,
you don't want your name on that anymore.
Nope.
No, but it was something I could tell early in the year. Just watching you go to the bench was really nagging. You just look better of late. Looked good last night. Looked like I saw you last night, Elyjah, shoot more pull-up jump shots in that game than maybe I've seen you shoot in about 2 years. Is that something that you've worked on? Tonight even, you had a couple of them and also went to the rim, but that's a nice piece that on this team a lot of guys don't do. We have a lot of good three-point shooters. We got guys around the rim, but that mid-range area, that's something we don't see a lot of. Just talk about why are we starting to see more of that? Is that something you've been working on a little bit on your own?
Yeah, definitely over the summer and even before the season. And even during the season, I always go to the gym and I work on mid-range pull-ups. So that's the thing I got to do in the game.
Absolutely. Well, it was a tough one today. It's a tough weekend for this team. You're one of the seniors on this team. You're a guy they're looking to. Got a lot of underclassmen. How do you get back on track? Tuesday night, Westland, right? And then Friday night, New Albany. I know you're not a man of many words, but when you're in that locker room with some of those young guys like Diallo and Kenyatta, what do you need to start doing X's and O's, but what are you going to say to these guys to kind of help them regroup a little bit?
I'm telling them that we need to keep our heads up, and Monday's a fresh start. We have Ray and Scotty coming back. And, Monday we need to come with a new attitude and finish the season out strong. Absolutely. And talk X's and O's with me. If there's one thing from Elyjah Monroe's perspective that we got to do a better job of, I mean, we were on a roll here, 6 in a row, now have lost, 3 out of 4, or 3 in a row, 4 out of 5, I believe it is now. What needs to change? What do you want to see in, the final 5 games of the regular season and hopefully a nice postseason run? I want to see us come together as a team more. I want to see us cut turnovers down, have better driving lines, and just most importantly, come together as a team and finish strong. Do you feel like that's an issue right now? Is there a little bit of a lack of that at times, or is it? Yeah, I feel like it's lack of it sometimes. Okay. What's the future hold for you? This may be the last time we have a headset on you. I hope not. I hope you go for 40 on next Friday night. We bring you up here again. But what does next year look like for Elyjah Monroe? Next year for me, I don't know what I'm doing yet, but I'm gonna just keep on hooping and see what colleges want to talk to me or see how that goes from there. Okay. Is there anybody right now that has expressed interest that has intrigued you a little bit? Heidelberg expressed interest in me, but not really. Okay. Who's up at Heidelberg right now? Is that Nakai and Kurt? Okay, Nakai and Kurt together up at Heidelberg, up in Tiffin, Ohio, right? So that'd be a good place. You hang out with those guys a little bit, or they friends? So that'd be more fun. So I think Tiffin's out in the middle of nowhere, though. I stayed in a hotel once out there, and boy, not much to do. So you better find a gym and love basketball and love the guys you're with. So, but anyway, it's fun watching you tonight. Love watching you play, defend, the way you're shooting the basketball, getting to the rim, the way you lead. And I think there's been 2 or 3 times the last 2 or 3 weeks that we could have brought you up here. So it's good to talk hoops with you. Keep leading this team, all right, and finish strong. So Elyjah Monroe, gracious enough to come by. Appreciate him talking to us here on the post-game show. And one of these guys I saw play back in middle school, was actually coaching in the district at that time, and one of the guys I had no idea how we would deal with, talking about Elyjah Monroe, and young man that every year has gotten a little bit better and had 13 points tonight for Groveport Madison, but not enough as St. Charles a winner 51-44. We are in the midst of the Eddie's Chicken and Waffles post-game show. Eddie's Chicken and Waffles, your game day home for the best chicken wings in all of Columbus. Their special crack seasoning on those chicken wings is so good you'll be addicted from the first bite. Don't take our word for it. You've got to try them for yourself right now. Enjoy 50 whole chicken wings for just $34.49. That's 50 wings, $34.49. It's Eddie's Chicken and Waffles, 3252 No Bixby Road in Columbus. You can phone your order in right now at 614-829-7779. or by visiting Eddie'sChickenandWaffles.com. Ryan Gratial making his way up. He appears as he always does, courtesy of Great Clips. Great Clips, convenient, affordable, and right around the corner at 3797 South Hamilton Road in Groveport in the Giant Eagle Plaza. 58 convenient locations in Central Ohio, 4,000 of them nationwide. They're the fastest growing walk-in salon in the country, and I know Coach Gratial, just the basketball part, exhausting this time of year. Being a dad with young kids at home, keeping you up late at night can be a challenge, and I know people down here that want to talk to him, including assistant coach or former assistant Pat Dimmick, so we'll keep it close. But Coach undermanned tonight, and guys had to step up, and I mean, I guess the initial thought, your thoughts, you had a chance down the stretch. You'd cut it to 2. And again, I guess that same question I asked you pregame about last night. What didn't allow you guys to kind of finish the job down the stretch tonight?
You know, I told the guys, I said, all of our shortcomings, whether it's tonight or it's a possession here or there, and you just don't know where that possession is. You know, it could be in the first quarter whenever you take a bad shot. I said it could be in the second quarter whenever you get beat on a driving line, a guy has to help, and instead of him having 1 foul, now he has 2. So you just never know, and the rotation changes because of it, and so you just never know what that possession is. Obviously, down the stretch, didn't finish real well around the rim. A little short tonight from our guards, and it was guard-on-guard action. I thought we got the ball where we wanted to in a lot of situations. So I don't know. It's just these possession here and a possession there. So
is it ever a case down the stretch when you've got to get a basket where sometimes you don't have that one guy that whoever it is, the Waits kid at Grove City or whoever, that you kind of put the ball in their hands? Is that ever an issue that kind of guys are looking to say, who's supposed to kind of take charge in this moment?
Well, I think we have guys to do that. I think the one thing is that we have a lot of guys that have the ability to score.
Sure.
And so whenever we run these actions, obviously there's the first look and then our second option. And sometimes you don't get to the second option. And the second option is a lot of times what's open. So that is a very good point. And but we do have a lot of guys that can step into that role, and that's kind of the benefit and the negative at the same time.
Sure,
so.
I'm sure they're learning that role too as the season goes on. Tonight Victor Searles with 10. It was a quiet 10. We'd heard about Chase Walker. He has 4, and being undersized the whole night without looking at tape. How do you evaluate how you did against their bigs?
I think the biggest thing is I thought we did a really nice job in our game plan as far as helping off of number 2. And the biggest thing is, is that it's also a testament to St. Charles and number 2 himself, because he didn't go off script. So it's actually a testament just to him as well, sticking with their game plan and their process. And, you look at that and you say, that's what you're doing, but he took every shot was great, and he drove to the rim, got up on the glass. So while you can say our game plan was great, he also executed their game plan to a T. So.
Yeah, I could see the wheels turning on him, though, as Zay was 12 feet away from him.
He's like, how can I break him down to get to the rim?
What do I do here? Because I've not seen somebody play this far off of me. So I want to ask anybody in particular step up today, and part B to that is I asked Monroe, who says, man, I'm really starting to finally feel well, and we've seen him the last couple weeks. It seems like a different Elyjah Monroe of late.
Before the season, he was sick for a month. He sat out for a month in October, and that affected his conditioning. Mm-hmm. And then whenever he did get in, then in November he takes a knee from Aekins in just a driving line game, and then it's the knee. So now he can't work on his conditioning. So it's taken this long to get him where, I don't want to say where he needs to be, but where he's a little bit more comfortable.
Sure.
And he can play a little bit more extensive minutes without getting in foul trouble just because of, bad fouls here or there. But, I actually thought we really had a nice unit tonight, top to bottom, 1 through 13. I thought our bench was engaged. I think everybody that stepped on the floor contributed in some way. So it's a tough one because, you came up short last night and you followed up with this one. But I think our guys are resilient. I told them a fresh mindset on Monday. We got to bounce back. We got to sprint into the end of this season, not just coast in. That's not what we do here, and that's not what we do for these seniors. So
you told me several times as we've talked, not a lot of vocal leaders on this team, and that's something that seems like a lot of years you deal with. Guys that are good leaders, they work hard, they show up every day, but they don't want to. I think a lot of programs, Jacob Daniel was saying he has the same problem at St. Charles, and how do you get them to regroup? Who's the guy besides you that's going to speak up and say, hey, that's over with now. We're ticked off. We lost 2, but now we Monday kind of start fresh and let's have a good week.
About a week ago, I told the guys, I said, if you guys, Ricky Cooper says everything right. So if you guys want to become better basketball players, better young men, better contributors to this team, listening to what he's saying and just taking a tidbit. I'm not asking to be, whatever, but take a tidbit here and there. And I think some of our guys really listen to that message and have started to kind of buy into that idea of what he's providing us. And I think the other thing is that it's obviously the seniors that are going to step up. So it's not that we don't expect sophomores and juniors to do that, but
sure.
Our senior class, they want to go out the right way. So I think you're starting to see a little bit more from that. Monroe and I met before the game tonight, and he wanted to meet. He requested that, and I thought just various guys, Devin, Ricky. So I think if you're going to propel and sprint into the end of the season, and if you're going to have a nice postseason run, it's going to be your seniors that lead you.
Absolutely. So. Some of those guys looking at their final 5 basketball regular season games they'll ever play, and maybe a postseason then. So, real quick, next week, Tuesday, a makeup game at Westland, and then Friday a home game against New Albany, which, like we talked about in the pregame, just blew out Big Walnut. Yeah. Just a quick peek at next week.
Westland, I mean, their record doesn't reflect. I think they're really long. They play a couple different zone actions, so they're really long. They have a couple athletes, so they're a kind of a weird matchup. For us, especially because we don't really see that necessarily in our league. We see the length, but not necessarily that type of defensive mindset. And then obviously New Albany, it's going to be a battle here. It was an overtime game at their place. I thought we really let one go at New Albany, honestly. I thought that should have been one of ours. So it's going to be a tough week, but I told the guys got to have a great mindset on Monday.
I think the last time I looked at their schedule, they had 3 overtime games, and they've won all of them. I think they beat Westerville North in overtime. They beat Groveport in overtime, and maybe Big Walnut earlier in the year. There's a third game where every tight game, New Albany's won a lot of them.
And that's the difference in whenever you look at your win-loss record. Those tight games, if you pull them off, and your record looks a lot better, and if you don't, you end up in a situation where you got a couple extra losses that really aren't maybe something that you didn't play that badly or whatever the case may be.
Sure. So. You look 9-8 right now. You take 3, you're 12-5 if that happens. So.
Absolutely. So,
Coach, get some rest. We'll do it again. We won't see you Tuesday, but we'll do it on Friday night. Appreciate you staying late. Thank you so much for all your help. Thanks, Rick. Ryan Grayshall, courtesy of Great Clips, talks to us here on the Eddie's Chicken and Waffles post-game show. We say thanks to the Cruiser head coach. We say thanks to Dan Maris and the team at Great Clips as well. That online check-in app, boy, you need that. Or you need to go to greatclips.com. You sign in, so there's no more waiting around. Next time you walk in and the team at Great Clips is waiting for you, my family uses it absolutely all the time at all their 58 locations here in Central Ohio, 4,000 nationwide. We like the one on Hamilton Road by Giant Eagle. We also use the one over by Walmart in Canal Winchester as well. So you can download that app or just sign in. You can do it all right on the Great Clips website as well, which is greatclips.com. So again, back here on the Eddie's Chicken and Waffles post-game show, St. Charles uses a 19-14 run in the fourth quarter to win tonight by the final 51-44. It was a 32-30 game at the end of 3. St. Charles really asserted themselves in that first half. They led by as many as 11, but I would say every time you thought maybe it was going to get too big, the Cruisers would go on a little mini run of their own. They'd get right back into the game, and from that point on, once they got back into it, it was a 2-possession game for most of the night. Got down to a 2-point game. I remember, you'll have to watch the video replay of this, Victor Searles hit a couple really big free throws in this game. I think it was a 3-point margin at that point. It was a foul underneath. I think it was Elyjah Monroe that fouled him as Searles was getting ready to raise up with about a minute 15 maybe left. Victor Searles, only a 54% free throw shooter, hit 2 ginormous free throws, made it a 5-point game, and the Cruisers, I don't think ever got any closer than that the rest of the way, and they lose tonight by the final of 51-44 here on the Eddie's Chicken and Waffles post-game show. St. Charles goes to 12-5 on the year. They stay at 4-1 in the CCL. Groveport Madison loses for the 3rd straight time. St. Charles wins for the 7th straight time. Groveport Madison drops to 9-8 on the year. They are 4-3 in OCC Capital play. Upcoming for the team from the Bexley area, St. Charles, coming up as we look for their upcoming games in a dark gymnasium in here. They will play, I don't think we have their upcoming games. Thank you very much. Had that on another chart. Shame on us. Fire us. Kick us out. Stop the insanity, but do not have updated upcoming schedule on them. But the Groveport Cruisers, who have lost 3 in a row and 4 of their last 5, will be back in action on Tuesday night at Westland. That's a game that was rescheduled from back on the 27th of November. They'll play Friday night against New Albany, a home game at 7:30. Tuesday, February 4th, a home game against Kent Riggs and Lancaster. Friday the 7th, a big game up at Newark, 7:30 start there. And their final regular season game is February 14th, the Friday night. It's senior night here at Cruiser Arena when Brett Bartlett, Jagger Barnett, Keegan Heighton, Steve Palmer, and many others come to town from Big Walnut. We'll have that one for you. Our broadcast schedule the rest of the way, we will be off on Tuesday. We'll carry that New Albany game on Friday. We'll carry the Lancaster game on February 4th. We'll carry the Newark game on February 7th. And we'll carry Big Walnut on February 14th. So it's real easy. 5 games left in the season, plus postseason, which we should jump on. And the plan is to do postseason basketball as well. But we will cover 4 of the 5 regular season games. The only one we will not cover is this Tuesday night at Westland. So, again, we're in the midst of the Eddie's Chicken and Waffles post-game show. Grateful that Elyjah Monroe and Brian Gracial came up and talked a little bit of basketball with us. And, again, we'll talk to you on Friday night when New Albany comes to town. 7:30, the Birch Tavern opening tip in that one. 7:05 is the Sedalia Dental pregame show. I think that puts a wrap on the Eddie's Chicken and Waffles postgame show. We say thanks to the head coaches from these 2 teams, Ryan Gracial and Jacob Daniel. We say thanks also to athletic director Steve Petros and David Lawler. Boy, Jacob Daniel, outstanding, very gracious with us, gave us about an hour and a half. He was sitting out in his car the other night, had driven his son home and arrived at the house. Son's got tired of waiting on Dad and went in and talked X's and O's with us for about an hour and a half late one night, and sure appreciate him. Also appreciate our on-site producer, Lynn Cooper, working a lot of hours of late. Our cameramen tonight, Price Cooper and Ty Cooper. And we say thanks to all of our sponsors, especially tonight's official game sponsor, talking about Canal Chiropractic on Thrush Drive in Canal Winchester. Let Dr. Scott Wade, Dr. Nick Miller, and the team at Canal Chiropractic help with your back pain, muscle spasms, even nerve pain. Dr. Wade, Dr. Miller, 27 years of experience. It allows them to provide you with personalized care, including 20 different treatment techniques that'll help you to feel better fast. You can schedule a free consultation with Canal Chiropractic and Rehab by calling 833-0563 or by visiting canalchiro.com. And I think the good book says, let there be light, and there was light, at least for a moment. And now our janitor just turned it off again and said, get out. But you can order a permanent high-definition digital download of tonight's broadcast. It includes full high-definition video. So if you had a son or grandson playing tonight, you'd like to have a better copy, high-definition video. All the details on how you can pick up a copy of that are on our page right now. We can send that to you as a link. You download it and have it for many, many years to come. We'll talk to you next Friday night when Keegan Schaub, Jaden Lewis, and the New Albany Eagles fly into Cruiser Arena. Airtime is 7:05 with the Sedalia Dental pregame show. The Birch Tavern opening tip is set for 7:30. We hope you'll join us then. For Ryan Gracial, Elyjah Monroe, Lynn Cooper, Price Cooper, Ty Cooper, and our entire Groveport Sports Network broadcast team, my name is Rick Cooper, saying so long from Cruiser Arena, where St. Charles wins number 7 in a row. They snap a 3-game skid against the Cruisers, and they do it by the final of 51-44. Thanks for watching. Have a good night, everybody.